Okay, well, hello there. Sorry for the 17-minute delay. Had some stuff to do alongside getting water. Anyway, let me just quickly check the audio and then I'll try and explain what I'm gonna do for today. So, be right back. Okay. All right. I think we talked about this earlier. Well, first of all, hope you had a very nice Thursday thus far. I hope you have a lot of fun in case you're drawing as well, or improving in any sort of skill that you intend to master, or just get better at. Doesn't always have to be the most grand of things. Either way, I think, yeah, we talked about this before, but just to reiterate it and get everyone on the same page, for today, I'm going to set aside a few variables that we're going to control for a drawing, perhaps even two. I'm thinking of landscape and characters, though I might do more hard surface stuff, perhaps cars and, I don't know, weapons, or, well, yes. I do actually want some sort of paint process going on here. So, yeah, I'll try and test my painting skills. I'm sure I've gotten a bit rusty. But yeah, I'll probably try and paint a landscape and draw characters, two characters, and the specifics I'll come up with in a bit. I just wanted to try and fix a little bit of this supposed Porsche here, because yeah, it's not exactly obvious what this car was supposed to be, you know? At least not on this image here. Though I do have to say, the first version I did here, right? So this more box-like construction approach has a lot better proportions. So my goal, I think, is attainable. I just have to, you know, essentially try and, is it superimpose? But, you know, draw upon the, well, proportionately more accurate box method, let's just say, these kinds of details, right? So this is the kind of detail I want, and it's the kind of style I want with my sketching for now, you know, for now. It's a method I can at least replicate to some extent. And I want these details to be placed on this more proportionate car, essentially. So, yes, what I do want to try and see is if I can... Oh, right. Right. Almost always forget. I think I tried this yesterday too. Just pulling it back by manipulating the... Oh, by cutting out the selection, rather. So, yes. I mean, honestly... Oh, okay, I need to erase the top here. No, sorry about that one. I couldn't mute myself. Couldn't mute myself in time, unfortunately. Alright, so... I just wanted to try my hand at this a little bit. Though I feel like the front doesn't quite work. You know what I mean? It kind of looks like... I don't know the structural, the technical names of these. But this like support beam here, right next to the windshield, right? This thing here. It kind of looks like it's pointing... how should I draw this? More like this way. Like the windshield itself, you know? While the front end of the car is kind of like bending to the left and down. So let's say these are our axes, right? Actually, let's be a bit more accurate. Axis 1, axis 2, axis 3. I feel like the front end of the car is not so much, you know, in the middle here, but kind of like to the left. That's what it kind of looks like, honestly. So I'm kind of trying to figure out if I can rectify this a bit. I don't know how, though. I don't know how. Well, without, you know, just redrawing the whole thing. There's, I mean, just a non-destructive method, you know, of fixing this for the most part. Either way, I like the end result. Perhaps it's this line actually, or the lack of like the hood in a way, you know. I feel like I might be able to see this at least a little bit, you know. And while I haven't really painted or drawn through the glass here to see the other side of the car, right? Kind of feels like I should be doing that. But, you know, I want a method I can replicate easy. Not necessarily to not have work in the sense of just being lazy, you know. I just want a method that I can do often and quick to train proportions and just my hand-eye coordination on hard surface, you know, drawing, I guess. And since cars have most, or rather all, of the things you would need for, say, product design, right? Since I want to train that a bit, you know, I thought, well, why not just draw a lot of cars, right? But I need a structural, like a more technical approach to this that allows me to be more accurate with my proportions, while also, you know, trying to not lose the ability to detail it. Because when I'm drawing like this, right, with these like very hard guidelines that emerge from just drawing a big rectangular shape or cuboid shape, right? I feel like I'm locked into that shape, and I don't know how to change my mindset to get this feeling out of my drawing, you know, because I think you can tell. Like this is, I'm way too stiff here, way too rail, way too much on like a rail, you know. And this, and with this, I'm almost a little bit too loose. And I don't mean this in a good way, you know, like the kind of loose you would want when you're drawing, right? The kind that you look at pros telling you, or wait, the kind of loose drawings that the pros tell you about, yeah, right? So like, say you watch a video and you're like, try and draw loosely, you know, sketching is just it's supposed to be a sketch. It's not supposed to be perfectly accurate and all that stuff, you know. And then they draw, and all their proportions are just perfect, you know. And you're like, okay, well, if I could draw like you, I wouldn't have this problem. So, yeah, kind of want to find a way to, I don't know, just measure properly, I suppose. Because proportion is really just measuring. And if I can't do it with just my eyes properly, then perhaps I'll have to figure out a way to make like this kind of what would be the right name? Well, let's just call it a guide, you know. Instead of drawing a box, perhaps I'll just mark the beginning and end of the car, and then I'll mark where, say, the roof is. Or perhaps I will actually just start as I usually do, right? With where, so this is like the method of a drawing session of Bill or Bob. Sorry, let's just say drawing sessions, right? And he basically finds the rocker panel. First, he goes for the typical ground plane here, right? And he draws in some very loose wheels. Sorry, I just forgot the word. And then he's looking for the rocker panel, you know. Then he's usually drawing in the essentially what amounts to the volume of the wheels. Why do I constantly forget what this is called? What the hell? This is a wheel. A wheel. WHEELS or IILS. I don't know how to pronounce individual English E's or I's or whatever. It's stupid. It's stupid. Anyway, we're not here to talk about linguistics. So, yeah, he then just goes into, give some volume essentially to his wheels, or rather, you could also say that he is drawing in the wheel behind, in the background, right? In my case, I used his technique to draw the volume of the wheels in this car, right? As you can tell here. When he's drawing the car from a side view, like this one, so not orthographic, just a regular side view, he is usually using this shadow or like just darker area here as a way to describe the wheels behind it, to give this car more depth, you know. And he usually goes in and finds either the accent line of the car or some other base structure that goes across the most of the form. I don't know, the technical terms for all of this, but yeah. Then he tries to find like the front bumper, And the most important about the way he sketches, I don't know if that's like a commonality for all product design, like sketching, or if it's just something that would make any sketch look good. But most of what makes this sketch look good is line control, line weight control rather. It's not the accuracy of the lines, as you can tell here. It's not whether or not they are wobbly or not. You can even get away a little bit with some chicken scratching. It would be probably better to not do that, as I, have here. But if you can't help it, it's not the end of the world, What is, however, going to be the end of your sketching world is whether or not you're setting or putting the shadows, the darker lines, really, that go into the form properly. So if you start placing all of the lines, all of the dark lines where they don't belong, right, you'll have a hard time making the car look good. So yeah, of course we can't forget the core shadow stuff. I mean, core shadow, not what I mean. When you draw on, or when you look at like a cylinder, let's say, right? Look at the cylinder, and let's say you hold it in such a way that light shines from one of its sides here, right? So most of the light is on this side. The least amount of light is on this side. Or perhaps let's go like this. I suppose there's like this where you draw shadows, where it's where there's like a small shadow area just around the the curvature. It's like directly on the curvature, like essentially right where the shape quote turns. Even the smooth ones, right? They all have this point where they curve. I don't know what you call this. I think the Terminator line or something. I don't know. But like specifically for like cylindrical shapes like horns, grips, um, all sorts of metal bars and that. When the light shines on them in a particular way, they have like this like very light shadow right in the middle, essentially, of the form. So as that too. I would like to learn a bit more about the theory. I think I said that yesterday, but it's like, it's very difficult to find the resources for it. And sometimes you wouldn't believe where you find them. It's kind of weird. Um, but yeah, I'll try and look it up, see if I can find some explanations about how shadows work. I would probably look into, um, you know, rendering techniques for games. Perhaps I can find some interesting help there, because they're essentially doing the same as I am, right? When I'm putting down shadows, I'm trying to preserve the believability of the scene, or I'm trying to make the scene believable in the first place by adding these shadows. Like I would say a lot of video games nowadays could get away with having very minimal shadows, some even without any. But if you just want to properly work it, perhaps you have a specific idea about the art style for your game or whatever, right? Grimdark, for example. Let's say you try and make a grimdark roguelite, I don't know, top-down shooter or something. I don't know, or isometric view. You need, part for buildings and all that stuff. You could argue you need a lot more shadows. You want to make everything look perhaps grimier, a little bit darker, desolate. Desolate, just abandoned and all that. It requires probably of you to use a lot more shadows. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is um, they're trying to keep the illusion alive. And I kind of feel like whenever I'm looking for like specific art advice for drawing, most of what I end up finding is just, hey, I'm selling this course. And while I understand, that you want to make money, it's just not. It's a bit disheartening in a way that there is like nothing. Or I'm sure there's tutorials out there and help and all that. Not saying there isn't, but it's like, at least the way I'm searching for it, looking for this stuff, I kind of end up just watching a video or something or reading. And then I'm like, okay, but this kind of feels like you're not telling me everything. You know? I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, I think let's do some brainstorming for the test thing here. Kind of wondering what I should name this document. It's not so much dailies, it's more like training, training illustrations, basics, dailies. I don't know. So it's training. It is trying to learn this, right? But it's more so trying to produce something, right? I'm trying to check if my ability to output art has improved, right? So I can do all the scribbles and doodles and quote studies that I want forever and always if I don't end up actually improving the output, right? Like I don't want to be stuck in the I'm gonna just sketch forever phase. And perhaps I'm not trying to be an illustrator. I don't know yet. I have no idea. I just want to get better at drawing, right? At the basics. I have no particular end goal in mind necessarily. I did think for a long time that I just wanted to be a concept artist. And while that can encapsulate a lot of things, you know, perhaps I also just want to be able to do like illustrations, you know, like actually amazing looking paints, perhaps, you know. I don't know. I kind of want to do everything, but that might be detrimental. So yeah, for now, I'm trying to improve my sketching abilities, anatomical understanding of the human form, right? But I'd actually have to sit down and study anatomy for that to happen. So yeah, it's it sucks. It really sucks. It really does. Well, anyway, what do I call you? What do I call you? Hmm. I am controlling for variables. I mean, I could just call it output, but that's a bit too technical, I think. Oh well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Let's just call it just give the folder name variables. Why am I so tired all of a sudden? Variables, and we'll call the file perhaps milestones. Whatever, we'll just call it milestones. Who cares? It's really not that deep. Okay, alright, so let me think. Let me think about what I want to test, what I want to improve in, right? I do want to be able to work with colors better, and I found interest in painting. Though it might just be like oh, look at all of these artists, they are making such amazing art, right? I want to do that. Like that kind of feeling. It might just be that. But since I have no particular goal otherwise, let's just say I want to improve my painting skills, obviously my sketching. I want to make characters, you know? Interesting looking characters. Fun looking characters. Do interesting things, you know? So I think I'll just go with that. I think I'll just go with what I said earlier. I'll go for 2 full body. So let's write this down. Actually, let me use a text vector for this. Text vector. Text editor with a vector layer. I don't know. Overly technical. Just want to write it down. Let's just take this. Let's go with 28 or perhaps 36. All right, let's go with 36. So, all right. Let's go to the lab. No, actually, let's do this one first. Let me just remove the tablet here for a bit, so I can actually type on my keyboard. All right. Limitations. Let's call it limitations. Limitations. Okay, well, whatever. Limitations. Drawing 1. Let's go a bit smaller than that. Let's go 28. And then let's go... Why does the entire thing have to change? What the hell is happening? 36. I just want this one line to change. Come on. Why is formatting so difficult in this one? Alright, I want this to change 2 to 28. 26. Alright. Two full body characters. Fully rendered. So like, you know, fully rendered as in just putting in shadows, as in although actually maybe not. Maybe not fully rendering it would help. I don't know. No, let's stick with... Okay, I want to draw two full body characters in my first drawing, right? Two full body characters. Whatever it is they are doing. Two, because I just want more... I want them to be a bit more grounded. Or rather, I want the characters just to interact with each other. So that's something I want to test and learn and improve on, right? So characters interacting with each other and seeming, at least, you know, believable in what they are doing, how they are acting, how they are moving, that kind of deal, how they are standing, right? And while I could just say do this with one character and have that character interact with the viewer, I suppose. I don't know, you know, two characters could just be two full body characters, honestly. Could be a human and a cat, just drawing their full body. Both of them are characters, technically speaking, you know. But perhaps I'll say full body humanoid. Since I want to improve my anatomical skills, right, of humans, since I want to be able to draw them better. So yes, I'm trying to figure out... Drawing 1. Two full body humanoid characters, fully rendered, without direct reference. How do you write accessoires? I can't even write that. How do you write accessoire? Like an accessory. 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 How do you write accessory? Accessory. Okay. Accessories are allowed. Pose and accessory references are allowed. I could also try and do like, since I do want to produce like some sort of fan art at least, you know, perhaps 2 full body humanoid characters. Fan art in apostrophes, fan art, or original characters, I guess. Though I don't really have any, you know, I'm not interested at this point in time. Um, hmm, I could try and say, let's go with fan art. Okay, it needs to be a character that is already existing. It needs to be a character that's already existing. I don't want to just redraw a pose of a specific character. It would be nice if I could do it like, you know, looking at the wait a minute. Reference. Permitted. That sounds a bit stuck up, but whatever. 2 full body humanoid characters. I want them to be like existing characters from a franchise, from a random dude on the internet. I don't really care. Something I want to, you know, create. I want to learn to be better at, in a way, drawing. And since I do want to improve on my ability to just draw fan art, since I'm not really outputting anything, I'm just sitting down and doodling, really, honestly. I don't think it's very helpful. Don't think it's very helpful at all. So, might have to split this into several streams to achieve it, actually. But I'll try my best to, you know, be as quick as possible anyway. So I want it to be fan art, 2 full body humanoid characters, you know, fan art. So let's say ERB, for example, and Shiori, or any other Hololive character, really. Just as example, right? Or perhaps I want to draw some Mega Man and Ash Ketchum or whatever, right? 2 characters. They don't necessarily have to be from the same franchise. We could do crossovers and whatever, right? I just want them to be humans. I want them to be drawn in a full body pose, and I don't want to use direct reference like having an image of Ash doing a pose and I'm just copying that down, right? I do want to be able to look, however, for likeness, right? Say I don't remember what colors, for example, his hat was, right? I look at reference. I don't know what the proportions are for his arms, for example. You know, how long are they compared to the rest of his body? That's the kind of reference I do want to use, since they are important for the likeness of the character. Like if I were to draw Tom in Tom and Jerry, right? Very, very small. I could do that. But it's like, is that Tom at this point? I don't know. It's up to debate. Perhaps I don't have to be that strict, though. Perhaps I don't want to limit my creativity too much here. But I just want to control for the variables so I can have like an actual comparison, you know? Oh, okay, now, okay, to be able to like say at a later stage, you know? Oh, okay, now I have this drawing, looks nice. This is what I drew today, right? Say we do this every 50 days, every 25 days, or whenever I feel like it, right? I just want there to be limits, since it's such a vast field, drawing, you know, that to be able to compare myself to myself, right? I need to be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is not what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be allowed to do and look at and whatever else, right? So, yeah, let's move on. We don't need a time limit for the first drawing. Full body humanoid characters, fan art, fully rendered, without direct reference. No time limit. Or perhaps I will limit myself to a time limit. Perhaps. You know, perhaps I will say, okay, at most, I would want to use 7 days worth of streams for these like characters. At most. I don't know. We'll see. It's like it's a bit difficult here. Okay, let's just stick with no time limit for now. Let's just stick with no time limit for now. And do 2 full body humanoid characters fan art, fully rendered without direct reference. Reference for likeness and pose are permitted. You know, getting the colors correct is essentially what I mean. The colors of the gear, or perhaps not. You know, maybe I feel like drawing a skin of a character. You know, like in a microtransaction sense. You know, like an Irelia skin, or Timo skin, or like, I don't know, any other MOBA, really. So, all right, let me just sit down here. For the second drawing, for the second drawing, I think I do want. What? What's happening in here? 26. 28. 36. Imitations. 28. 26. Okay. I don't want this to be bold. All right. I want landscape. Painting. And since I'm not using any like traditional tools at this point in time, I'll do it digitally, the paint. It might help to get some gouache paper and just, you know, do that perhaps. Would certainly be interesting. I'd have to buy it though. I have to go out and, you know, see what I have around me. I want the landscape painting also fully rendered. So I'm just writing this down to not just do what is essentially a value study, right? By fully rendered, I just mean getting past the point where you put in the value and then putting in the colors, right? Or perhaps just putting in the colors directly after the sketch is done, right? So yes, perhaps should I specify a method of how to draw these two drawings, right? How to construct them essentially? Because I could just go in and just scribble something down, right? To make it kind of look like a character, right? And then just put some color on it and be like, oh, okay, now I'm done. But next time I do this, I actually take my time, sit down, fully render it, and make it look like an illustration. Then I also didn't really control the variables, right? Because I let myself be very sloppy. But I guess I'll just have to catch myself not doing that, you know? So yeah, landscape painting, fully rendered. Direct reference is allowed, but with a time limit of 2 hours. Within 2 hours, so within one stream, essentially, I want this painting to be done. However far I get, that's how far I got. You know? All right. I think that makes sense. Potentially. All right. Let me... Can I move this? All right. So... Can I just use this, please? Thank you. All right. 4 points. All right. 2 full body humanoid characters. They need to be of an existing franchise, make, or whatever. They need to be fully rendered without direct reference. So I'm not going in there, taking a picture, and essentially just using my method of construction to redraw it, right? So I can only use reference for likeness and pose. Similar to what I did with ERB, or tried to do with ERB. And perhaps I should add that I want to have to be. Want to have to be? What the fuck? No, this is not English. This is retardation. Okay, I want to discard these changes. All right. I want. Hmm. All right, so I do want to do some thumbnailing for drawing one. Essentially. What? I'm confused now. What? It is the same. What? Why is this so bugged? What the hell? Okay, that's 28, that's 26. That's 32. For some reason I can't add anything. No time limit. But with thumbnailing. So I want to do a thumbnail at first. A thumbnail with a time limit of 2 hours without thumbnailing, perhaps. I don't know. So no time limit, but with thumbnailing within a time limit of 2 hours without thumbnailing, I guess. Within kind of makes more sense. Within a time limit of 2 hours without thumbnailing. All right, I think that could make for decent enough limitations. Maybe, perhaps, potentially. So I leave this here. This vector layer. I can just turn it off and on again. All right, so this is the limitations. Limitations. All right. Good. Then for today, I'll just start with the characters, huh? I'll just start with the characters. Let's think about who we want to draw, who and why, for what purpose, what are they doing. So I'm kind of feeling summer. So perhaps we'll do the classic beach episode kind of image. Not sure about the pose yet or what the characters are going to be doing. But let me just open Pinterest here for a bit. I'm kind of feeling summer, you know? I kind of feel like summer. And so we'll see. We'll see. Beach episode. All right. Oh, right. I should also put in no backgrounds. I don't want to do backgrounds for drawing one. This is so weird. What's happening in here? No time limit. With thumbnailing. To thumbnail with thumbnailing. With thumbnails. No time limit. No backgrounds. With thumbnails. No time limit, no background with thumbnails. Alright, then we'll say landscape painting, fully rendered, direct reference allowed, within a time limit of 2 hours. Without thumbnails. Fully rendered, direct reference allowed, within a time limit of 2 hours, without thumbnails. Obviously, since I'm drawing a landscape, I don't just want to draw the foreground, right? So it has to be a full image, right? Foreground, mid, background. Is that even midground? Is that even a word? It's just the delineation of how far something is away, really, from the viewer. So yeah. Anyway, if I don't write down that I need to add a background, I suppose it's kind of like implied since it's already a landscape painting anyway. It's a fully rendered landscape painting with direct reference within a time limit of 2 hours without thumbnailing beforehand. Since, wouldn't make a whole lot of sense anyway. Alright, drawing 1 now would be 2 full body humanoid characters, fan art, fully rendered without direct reference, no time limit, no backgrounds, with thumbnails. So, yes, I want to train my thumbnails, so I'm gonna keep them separate. I'm also kind of thinking if I should separate all of the different what's it called? All the different drawings, right? Into separate files. So I'd probably rename this file in to like limitations, or perhaps I'll even make just a text document out of it, really. Put it in the folder and just open it up when I need it, right? So I think I'm actually gonna do that, yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna do that. Let me just see why I saved that. I think under projects, art, drawings, critter, training variables. All right, so I'm gonna delete this after having copied the text document. Limitations. We don't save. Let's open it with Notepad Plus. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Limitations. Is there no formatting that I can do? I can actually show all characters, define your language, document map, function list, folders, workspace, show all characters, word wrap, zoom in or out, find. Perhaps I can't actually properly edit the size of the font. Style. Using first style 1 program, applying commands, uppercase, lowercase. Well, limitations, drawing 1. 2 full body, that. Drawing 2, landscape painting, fully rendered, direct reference allowed. Would I have to use like Open Office or something to do this? To do what I intend to edit? I kind of feel like I would have to. Style configurator, languages, tools. I wouldn't even be able to tell you where I could possibly begin to format anything, really. Okay, Notepad++ certainly isn't the kind of program for that, I think. But it's okay, I don't really need it to be perfectly formatted anyway. If it's just easily readable, it's fine. Alright, so these are my limitations. Probably formatted, it would kind of look something like this, right? No time limit, no backgrounds with thumbnails. Landscape painting, fully rendered, direct reference allowed within a time limit of 2 hours without thumbnails. I think that has everything that I need to control for. Alright, so let me, no, I don't want to save it, close that and delete the milestones. And I'll just make a new file here. Alright, create. So this is a portrait. I think that should be fine. I mean, it's A3 anyway, so who cares? I mean, I could control for the size of the canvas as well, no? Should I do that? I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's just splitting hairs. You know, it's a red herring, I think. All right, so hydrating. All right. Anything else I want to say before I start drawing? I'll just name this day 100. Day 100 characters, and then I'll, you know, go for day 100 landscapes for the next file that I'll need, right? Or day 101, whatever. Set 1, I'm trying to be way too, like, orderly? Is it even a word? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna start drawing now. Look up some reference. Alright, we could actually do this semi together, you know. So let's see. I wanted to look for something. For some fan art ideas of whom to draw. I'm still very much feeling like doing the whole what the hell? Okay, sorry, I'm a little bit taken aback here. What the hell? See? This, guys, I think we are in a simulation. This can't be possible. What the fuck is happening? This is insane. Okay, trying to brainstorm, right? For the drawing right now. I found an image. What? I already had this? Okay, never mind. I just forgot it then. Okay, never mind. I thought I just found a tree that I made up. Right? So like I was drawing, right? Here. Practice week 8. This tree here. And I forgot that apparently I used a reference for this. I thought I just doodled a random ass tree. But apparently I have a reference image for this on my hard drive. And I just came across a tree that looked exactly like this. And I was like, what? How is this possible? What is happening? Well, anyway. It is what it is. I just thought I was going insane for a second there. Alright, let's get back to our day 100 character drawing here. So, I'm feeling summer. So, yes, that's kind of the theme. Summer theme, or, you know, atmosphere, time. So it's since I don't have to really care about the background, I don't have to care about the location too much. But I kind of feeling like maybe drawing 2 characters in bikinis, perhaps. Beach episode. Do I want to do that? Maybe. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Do I? I don't know. Do I? I guess we can, yeah, sure. Whatever. Okay, so 2 characters in bikini, so females, right? Let's see. Who do I want to draw? I could just do ERB and Shiori, I guess. Or we could do someone else. We could... You know what? Let's do someone from High School of the Dead. Let's go with Saiko and Shizuka, perhaps. Although that might be a bit dangerous. Might be a bit dangerous, guys. That might be a bit dangerous. Okay. Sure. Think we could do that. Think we could try that. Yeah. All right. Let's take those 2 characters. Those 2 characters and where is she? Okay, let's see. Okay, just wanna save some of these images that I get recommended here occasionally. I mean, it's not pixel art, but whatever. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with that. Alright. Alright. That's an interesting looking face. Let's save this face. All right. Okay. So we have the characters, right? Yes. Yes, I think so. Characters. I kind of want to do a sitting pose, perhaps. Let's just do a sitting pose where they're both leaning. Actually, let me do some thumbnailing for that. So, don't want to go too close here. All right, so let's say, well, I guess since it's portrait, let's actually have it be in a portrait, thumbnail, I guess. So I want both of them perhaps to sit somewhere like something like this, perhaps. Right? Perhaps they are kind of like, what's the way the Japanese sit on their own legs? I think that has a name to it, right? I feel like they do have a name for that. But essentially that, don't quite remember what it's called. But essentially just where they are sitting like so, right? Same for the other character, just in a different way, perhaps. Right. And maybe I'll have them both kind of look at the camera. So, right. Something like that, perhaps. I guess that head would have to be a bit further back. They don't have to be looking directly at the camera with their head. I think this should be fine. We want to think a little bit about what the characters, how they would sit in this situation. So, because of the size of the chest, of the torso, I'm kind of thinking this is Shizuka on the left here, and this is Saeko on the right. Though perhaps I'll actually swap them, since this pose here kind of seems more like her. She's, Saeko is a bit more reserved, right? Whereas Shizuka is like the trope of she's kind of like the enabler to the lucky bastard trope, I guess. Kind of like Shinra in Fire Force, I think is his name, right? Like the main character of Fire Force, essentially. And the cat girl that constantly just falls on people in weird ways to do the fan service, right? So Shizuka is kind of like that girl, So yeah, I'm thinking about who this would be. Perhaps the hands will be like here. So if she's sitting like this, right? If I'm saying like left hand forward, the other is kind of like supporting her chest. I'm kind of thinking this might actually just be Shizuka. And this might just be Sayako. So, yes. This could work. Could work. It's not bad. Since we don't really have a background, right? And therefore not really a scene or a landscape to work off of. I'm kind of thinking there's not a whole lot what they could be doing. I mean, I could also move away a little bit from the swimsuit, right? Like the bikini. Because it's not necessarily that I must draw a swimsuit right this moment. Might also want to do something else. Perhaps we'll just have them as a kind of like poster for how they would actually just move around in the story, how they would be clothed. So I could also just, I could have Sayako stand in like her, I wouldn't say iconic pose, but there's like a scene in the anime, I think, if I remember correctly. Right, where she's standing on top of the military vehicle, like the Humvee they found, essentially. I think she's standing somewhere, something like this, on it. And I don't remember what she's doing with her pose, but I feel like she was holding like a sword in some sort of, yes, in this kind of manner. Oh, I'm not sure. Honestly, I think I have used all of my creative juices just to come up with thumbnail number 1, So, so I'm not certain I can come up with anything better than this at this moment. So let's just go with number 1 here. Yeah, I think we'll go with number 1, honestly. So will we? I mean, I don't really have to use a swimsuit still. I could still just clothe them normally while having them sit like this. So yes, perhaps I'll do that. Not sure. Not sure. I mean, I could also just have them stand next to each other, or Shizuka slightly behind Sayako. I don't even know who is taller of the two. But I mean, it doesn't have to be that accurate, We could have Sayako be in the front here, right? Hmm. Hmm. I don't think though she would stand around like this. You know, with the sword on her shoulder. It kind of seems more like a pose for Takashi, I think is his name, like the male lead. Kind of, yeah. I mean, it don't necessarily have to use, you know, Saiko and Shizuka. It could also just be Takashi and Saiko, for example. If I make this like his baseball bat, right, that he's usually using, or perhaps the shotgun or whatever. Right, we could be like, okay, this is Takashi, and perhaps this could be Saiko or something. Right, where they're like, oops, just standing here. Not using reference for this, right? I'm just trying to brainstorm some like basic pose I want them to do. Hmm. Hmm. I guess we could do something like this. You know, something. Perhaps something like that. We could do that. That kind of looks very interesting. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Or we could. Hmm. What else could we do? We could have them fight. Or I could do a little bit of a meme here. In a way. I could do something like oh no, I have to do them full body, full body, full body. Can't zoom in like this. Do not forget full body. Okay, that works. That works. Both adhere to the limitations. So, since they must be full body, no, nothing really comes to mind. I wanted to draw Takashi slapping what's her name? I don't quite remember. Oh, there she is. What's your name again? What's your name? Oof. Komodo Takashi, Ray. Genau. Ray. Ugh, gives me flashbacks of Star Wars. Terrible. But this is always going to be the superior Ray, regardless. So, not that big of a deal. Ooh, or I could draw female lead from Sentenced to be a Hero. What's her name again? Yes. Yes. You know, the Knight Commander. Kivia, right. Kivia Patouche. We could do Kivia too. You know, we don't have to just stick to any one of them. We could do a pairing here, perhaps. We could be like, well, we could draw Kivia and Psycho, for example. I like both of them. And they have a similar vibe, you know? Not necessarily one-to-one, but they are both like, how to say this? In a way, both of them are oath-bound women, right? Which is a rarity. So, like, they hold true to their convictions. And they are based. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter what they're based on. They're both like the kind of, not necessarily tsundere, but a different type of deer. Yes. Anyway, maybe like the cool type in a way. Yeah, cool, calm, collected, and then towards the end, they turn more into the not necessarily a dere. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm fucking dying trying to figure it out. Yes. They're more like the cool type, you know, that then have a like slowly develop like feelings for the protagonist, right? Kivia as well as Psycho. So this like going from cool to more motherly almost, you know? Because like the cool and calm and collected type, once they fall in love, usually turn into this like almost perfect motherly type, you know? This like, I don't know, super kind, super caring, like um, just character, you know? And I think Kivia is very similar in that, you know? I think she's pretty much that kind of character. So maybe we'll do Kivia and Psycho. In that aspect, in that context rather, sorry. This could also, number two could also just be Kivia and Psycho. So let's just decide on this before I, you know, deliberate on it too much or for too long rather, because it's not gonna be getting any easier the more time I spend figuring out who I even want to draw, right? So okay, I'm pretty pretty interested in Psycho. You know what? Let's just do Kivia and Psycho. Whatever. Who cares? Whoever cares shall shut the hell up. Whoever cares shall shut the hell up. If you have an issue with it, fuck you. All right. Um. Yep. Okay. Let me write it down. I want to draw Kivia, and I want to draw Psycho. Let's just do end, since the plus is kind of like, you know, um, sometimes has different connotations that I don't want to draw here. Kivia and Psycho. Those are going to be my two characters. And I'm kind of like deciding either one or two. I'm feeling like two, you know? Because there's more personality in that, I think. Although perhaps not. Perhaps there isn't that much of a difference here. Because it really just depends on how I draw these poses, you know? And um, like, what's the word? Emotions? Is that the word that I'm looking for? How I'm drawing their faces, really. Isn't there like a word to describe the movement of the face? Is it mimicry? No. Like there is a way to describe how someone uses their hands to talk, right? If they use them. Um, kind of feel like there's a similar word for that, for how they grimace in a way, you know, when they talk. How do they look? What? Anyway, I'm losing my point here. So I I can't. Okay, you know what? Let's do it by chance since I can't really decide here. We're going with 1. All right. I just used a random number generator. We're going with number 1. Okay, Kivia and Psycho in this like sitting pose here. All right. Perhaps I'll do this some other time. I'll leave those thumbnails though. I'll leave them for now. If I'm gonna end up exporting the image, I'll probably have to cut it out. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it here. So it's no big deal, really. Let's just thumbnails. We're going with number 2. Number 2. Number 13. All right. Since we're going to be looking down at them, let me just try and get the height here somewhat. All right, that should be fine. Oh, okay, I have to stand up actually. Ouch, my leg is hurting a lot. Ah, ow. Ow, 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 I mean, I guess I could just also use the thumbnail if I'm really feeling lazy, you know? Not really using reference for this pose. And I'm kind of feeling like I want to change it up a little bit. Perhaps have one character sit more to the side and lean on the hand, right? Or not? That doesn't feel right. Maybe it was the bend in the line here. Right. I'm feeling like I should just focus on the silhouette first. Not so much on the details here. So, yeah. Let's try and just capture the most basic forms here. Where would the legs actually start here? I think that's the point where having some anatomy knowledge would certainly help a lot. But yes, okay. I'm gonna mute myself now, and we'll see how far I get. And yeah, hope you draw along or draw your own fan art, whatever. Either way, I hope you have fun while you're drawing, if you draw the things you're interested in, you try and challenge yourself from time to time with the things you're not too good at, when drawing, I mean. Anyway, I'll probably see you at the end again. Otherwise, as usual, next stream. And yeah. See you next time, either way.